It's Coffin is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic, Spider-Man 94, issue number 3. I've already done reviews of issue 1 and 2. You can go get my thoughts on those issues in those videos, but I probably would not have picked up issue 3 if not for this ERIK Larsen variant cover that I absolutely love. I really wish he would do his own Spider-Man 94 series after seeing this. I mean, he's drawing everybody in his style, but in the Spider-Man cartoon costumes, even Venom. He's got the red and the blue like shadows on him there, and he's got Mary Jane and Kingpin in their clothes there. And Spider-Man, probably the only character that doesn't actually look, I guess, like his cartoon counterpart, because he's much more buff, and I love all the details and the rendering and all the muscles here on Spider-Man. Very much the ERIK Larsen style, big fists. The Savage Dragon creator, of course, and former Spider-Man artist. He relieved Todd McFarlane twice on Spider-Man books, Amazing Spider-Man and the Adjectiveless Spider-Man in the 90s. Definitely one of my favorite Spider-Man artists for sure. And I just love this cover. And again, I would not have picked this book up at all if not for that cover. Didn't really enjoy the first 2 issues very much. That first issue had some panels that have been memed to death already of Peter and Aunt May and Mary Jane. They didn't look too great. Nice drawing of a city here with Kraven and his lion, and I don't understand what they're doing here in this issue at all. I still don't know by the end. And just a random insertion here. Everything in this series feels kind of random. And I really hate this Moreland character too. Not a fan of him either. So I really don't care about the villain at all. We do at least get his origin story here. So I finally find out a little bit about him. But basically he's traveled through the ages, and to survive he has to, suck the life force out of very powerful creatures that he calls totems. And so basically Spider-Man is his most recent totem that he's found. I guess the one big reveal we get in this issue, which is kind of cool, tying some things up and adding their own spin to things in this comic book like the original cartoon would do to the characters. They actually make Ezekiel Sims Moreland. So 2 terrible Spider-Man villains. Of course, the villain from the Madam Web movie, Ezekiel Sims. Now we find out Moreland actually is Ezekiel Sims. It's his alter ego in the modern era. So that's kind of funny. I did kind of like that. We've got Kane here, who, of course, in the comics is a clone of Spider-Man. And with the solicits and the original things coming out about this book, I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be the animated series take on the Spider-Man clone saga, but that really has not been the case at all, at least thus far. There's only 2 issues left after this too, so I don't know if maybe we'll get a quick 2-issue clone saga or whatever, but that really hasn't happened yet. We still don't even know anything about Kane after this issue either, so... But we get Moreland explaining that he's trying to save the world, so Spider-Man's sacrifice is a worthy sacrifice that he needs to make so Moreland can save the world. Of course, Spider-Man wants no part of that, but Moreland wraps him up in this web cocoon. Very strange. Kane's trying to figure out why his father, Moreland, he calls him his father, is so obsessed with Spider-Man, and why he keeps having all of these visions and memories of Spider-Man's life, and why he's triggered when he sees Mary Jane, for instance. So I think they are going to probably reveal that he is some sort of Peter Parker clone or something. We'll find out. So we get a quick scene with Mary Jane and Aunt May, just Aunt May explaining she always knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man, because we found out in the last issue that she knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so she's saying she's not dumb. She's lived with him for years. And her and Mary Jane, they just need to back him up at any cost. So Spider-Man breaks out of this web cocoon. He says he can't let everything that they've suffered through and sacrificed, he can't let him win, because now him and Mary Jane have been reunited after the events of what happened in the cartoon, which of course we never even saw, or they never even told us what happened. They're just back together in the first issue of this series, which was my other main complaint, is that they did not give us any sort of resolution to the cliffhanger at the end of the cartoon. This entire series has just pretty much been doing its own storyline here, as if none of that ever happened. And then we get this really bizarre creature showing up. I think it's not a very good design on him. Just an excuse for a fight scene with Spider-Man here. Kane shows up, though, in Mary Jane's window. She thinks it's Peter at first. I think this is kind of a callback to something that happened in the comics, if I remember correctly. It's been years since I've read some of those Clone Saga comics, especially by the time Kane shows up. But he's trying to explain to Mary Jane he doesn't know what's happening to him and why he's feeling all these feelings, why he loves her, he says. Spider-Man continues to fight this creature until Kraven shows up and kills it. So, Deus Ex Kraven here. And for some reason, he's also in Morland's base, secret hideout, where he's hidden Spider-Man. Kraven is broken in here, apparently, or maybe he's working with Morland. Who knows? We have no idea. But he says his final hunt ends here as he's throwing the spear at Spider-Man. As we get just a panel of black and some blood splatter there. But just a bunch of random stuff happening. Not the best comic book. And I mean, it's just an animated adaptation, so I don't really know what you expect. I don't think we're expecting, some classic stuff here or anything. It certainly isn't that. Now, this is really funny, though. This letters page, this cracked me up. From the editor here, he says, "Folks, we've asked for your letters, and boy, did you deliver. I bet they did." That's me saying that. But he says, "The fan mail inboxes were flooded like never before with your letters for this book. Right now, there's too much to get through before this issue needs to go to print today. So to not delay this book from getting in your hands, for now, let me just share the first letter we got and the one to set the tone for next issue's massive letter column." And it says, "Dear Marvel, that was perfect. That is all. Regards, Michael Hocking, Australia." Now, I gotta say, if that is a real letter that they got, I guess that is perfect, because I guarantee you that they got overwhelmingly negative letters on the issue, I would imagine, because from what I saw, most people were pretty much maligning the issue, much like I did. So, but I think that's very funny if this is even true. I love the fact that he's saying that they didn't want to delay the issue, and so they couldn't print the entire letters pages. That's just hilarious. So, again, I find Marvel's letters pages to be dubious, if they're even real. I mean, we saw some a few months ago. I can't remember which comic that was in. That there was a couple letters that almost seemed identical and copied and pasted with just a couple changes. Very dubious when I read any Marvel's letters pages these days, especially since I can't imagine people actually sending letters. They got to be emails, right? So anyway, Spider-Man 94, an A+ cover here by ERIK Larsen, and I'd give the issue itself probably a D. So, but thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, check out my channel. I got playlists set up of all my videos, so they're easy to find. And I've got over a year's worth of videos on my channel, lots of shorts. I've covered all sorts of Marvel preview books and old comics as well, so check those out. And If you feel like donating to the channel, please feel free to do that. The link is in the description, and go read comics.